Through the magic of radio, we're going to go to Sochi, Russia, and check in with Jim Ryan. Jim, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. The opening ceremonies come tomorrow, but competition already has begun. They've had the qualifying in both the men's and the women's slope style. That's one of these relatively new ski board events. Shaun White, was supposed to take part in this, but after he jammed his wrist and decided that the course hadn't been modified to his liking, he decided to sit it out. But some Americans have progressed on through now.
Yeah, so we're hearing a couple of things. What's the story about the downhill track for the women? There was some issues with that.
Yeah, and it may be a snow type issue. It's quite warm here. It's pushing 50 degrees here down at the Black Sea, but up in the mountains where they're holding those events, it's quite a bit colder. They haven't had a lot of snow though. They've been stockpiling it for a couple of months. They're building new snow out there with big snow guns, blasting for 24 hours a day since December to try to ensure that those events could be held. So that may be the issue up there on the mountain for those women's ski events. But women's moguls are scheduled for this afternoon, and then at least the qualifying, and then we'll have figure skating this evening.
What do we know about the opening ceremonies tomorrow?
It's been kept really hush-hush. I did talk to a kid yesterday, and just randomly when we were watching the torch passing by, and he said that he is actually taking part in that. He'll be marching in the big crowd and had been to a couple of rehearsals. He wouldn't tell me much more beyond that, but it's expected that it will include fireworks and lights and music and perhaps a couple of thousand people down there in the stadium.
Jim Ryan, you are inside the bubble. You're sending news back to us here. You're not necessarily seeing all the news we're getting, and all we're hearing so far is that the toilets don't work, there are no shower curtains, there are no sheets on the beds, and the water is the color of beer. What's the real story?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that there are people having those sorts of problems. I haven't personally experienced it. There was a room waiting for me. It's small and it's very utilitarian, but it's nice enough and clean, and the people are nice. But even the IOC acknowledged yesterday that some people had gotten here and found that their rooms either weren't ready, the hotel hadn't been completed, or that there were other logistical challenges that they're trying to solve in the next 24 hours or so.
Put it into perspective for it. Is this like 2%, 1%, or is this like 60% of the people who are coming in with these issues?
Maybe 10, 12%. The IOC said, McGraw, that they had provided 24,000 hotel rooms leading up to these games, and they're trying their best to get the rest of them online. It is, he said, a relatively small percentage.
Jim, they were saying that the Deputy Prime Minister is saying that the threat of any type of terrorist attack is no greater than it would be in like New York, Boston, some other big cities. What's up with this toothpaste, possible toothpaste explosives?
Yeah, that came out yesterday. It came out of Washington, I believe. A member of the Homeland Security Committee of the House had said that there was intelligence chatter about that, the possibility that someone would try to smuggle bomb-making materials into this country in toothpaste tubes. So certainly that's going to be something that's scrutinized even more carefully at the airport of Sochi and certainly in Moscow and wherever these flights are originating. It's just another wrinkle in this whole thing that, the talk of terrorism. The response to that has been to post police officers all over this city, thousands and thousands of officers, 40,000 police officers, security officers, and military personnel are in the city to ensure that it does stay safe.
In terms of your own personal security, are you allowed to walk freely everywhere, or do you have to go with an escort? What about your own personal safety?
No, you can walk around pretty much any time, day or night, as you please, because there are still police officers out there in the middle of the night, either in cars or on foot. No, I haven't. There haven't been any sorts of restrictions like that at all.
Yeah, interesting. All right, that's Jim Ryan. Jim, thanks for checking in. We'll be checking in with you throughout the Olympics, so we appreciate that. And stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, McGraw.
You got it. Jim Ryan, live in Sochi, Russia. The big opening ceremonies is tomorrow, and
isn't it crazy though that it's almost 50 degrees there and it's 1 degree here? Seriously, McGraw.
I know, and it's 16 degrees here in the studio.
Yeah, that's why I'm wearing a coat.
For those on the TV side, I'm wearing a scarf. You're wearing gloves and a jacket. But the engineer tells us that it's 72 degrees here in the studio. When they look at us like we're crazy. You can see your breath. You can write on the windows. KTRS Live. You can write on the windows with the condensation on the windows. 726 here, Big 550 KTRS.